Welcome to Don's Manufactory. We've had 2 sunny days here in Portland. The first one I spent driving Betsy around, but that Speedway differential is so loud, it pissed me off. So on the second sunny day, I spent the morning swapping out third members. Out came Speedway, in went that used set of 350 gears in my good case that I had. To get that done, I decided I needed to teach myself something about these gear patterns and what the heck is going on. So that's what I did. I thought I'd take you guys along with me, show you what I learned, show you what I saw, and boy, I could really use your help if you know how to do this thing, because I seem to chase my tail quite a bit. Anyway, so I hope you enjoy this little trip down the path of differential knowledge. Let's get at it. So as an experiment, I tried putting some tin foil. I have some heavy duty tin foil that measures almost 1/1000th of an inch, but I need some of the standard duty foil that's only about 0.6 to make up for the wear of the bearing spinning in there, and it wore bearing failure. That's what ruined this case. I just used the race, and yeah, you can just drop it down in there, and I tried doing it as one piece, but it wrinkles at the joint, so I have to do it in 2 pieces, upper half, lower half. And anyway, it fits right in there. If you just snug up the bolts, then it locks this from moving, so you can't adjust it with the bearing actually in position. So I think I need the lighter weight tin foil so that I can just snug these down and it'll still move, and then when I torque it, it'll lock it down. If you torque these down, these bearings still slide in here, but they're supposed to be a 0 fit. You know, if I had regular steel shim at 1/1000th, that might work. I'm sort of torn between whether to use this or not, because it's aluminum. If there's any play in it at all, then this aluminum won't hold up, but a steel shim would. So at 1/1000th, it would have to be steel. But at 0.63 or 0.65, whatever the standard tin foil is, that might still lock it down enough that it'll stay in there. I think it's worth the experiment just to see if it works, because it would save this case. So I was thinking, well, I could put my 3/0 gears back in here, try this and set it up, just see if it works. Anyway, that's just what I'm doing, kind of playing around with this. Yeah, actually, what I need to do is get to work on the van, because the top engine cleaner came in. So I can decarbon the top of the motor, and if I flood it enough that it gets down into the catalytic converter, it can actually knock the carbon out of the catalytic converter and revive it enough that it'll go through DEQ. That's my hope. I used to do that all the time when I was working at the tune-up shop, so I'm going to try it on this, see if it works, and if not, then I have to buy a new catalytic converter. Ouch! I'm working on my van, which I got to get through DEQ. I have a fuel injector cleaner. It's, you know, the cheap and easy way to get central fuel injection units on these Vortec motors working. So normally I just use my standard stuff, but these cans lost pressure. What I ended up doing, let's see if I can show you here. There, see? I ended up poking a little hole in this and hooking it up and transferring all the fluid over here to my pressurizable air conditioning system cleaning canister. Then I transferred the fitting over so I could hook up to the fuel rail, and I hooked it all up, and then pressurized it to 60 psi, started the car, and then ran the fuel injector cleaner through using that thing. Worked a treat. So the van barely failed, but after treatment, it did pass by 20 parts per million, so I'm good to go. Thought I would set up the True Track with the 3/0 gear. Seeing how the 3/0s had problems with the bearings and everything. I thought, you know, I came up with a fix for this case, and so I'm putting it together as practice, as it were. I put new bearings on the Pinion, and I'm going to see if I can get these together in quiet, and then I'll give this here True Track another try at working right. You know, even though my 3.0 gears were quiet, it was starting to exhibit some trouble. You can see here that there's wear on this shaft where the race has been spinning. And in fact, let's see if I can show you this. Here we go. If I just turn this bearing, you can see that the race is spinning around. See the race moving around there on the shaft? So what happened was the crush washer relaxed, and you can see where then the race was spinning on the crush washer. And you can see where the yoke has been spinning, this race has been spinning on the shaft and wearing that front edge of the yoke. So all of it was loose in there. So the bearings had lost their preload. And the symptom of that is, if you look here at the shaft, see how much oil there is here? So what happens is when that tight seal goes away, then oil comes up the shaft and just comes right out the spline here. So if you have oil coming out on your nut, your crush washer has probably relaxed and your bearings are spinning. So the curative for that, of course, is, well, I say of course, would be a new crush washer, but what I would rather do is just put a solid spacer in here. So even though these gears were quiet, they were going to fail and at least start making noise. So I hope you can see that there. I'm kind of moving it through the light. This bearing was on my 3.0 gears, and you can see that the case hardening had started to chip out. It's just amazing how many little fail spots there were that were about to happen on this rear end. Anyway, I just wanted you to see that even though my rear end was quiet, it had this problem. I thought I'd show you these solid spacers. This is the one I choose to use. It has shims that go inside of it here. See, this is a 21 thousandths. And then this sleeve goes on top, and that constitutes the solid spacer. So you can then shim it to the size you need. The problem I'm having is that on these new bearings, this sleeve binds on the cage. Now it doesn't do that on these old bearings, the ones that came out, and actually on the bearings that I used on the other differentials. They did not have that problem. So I'm going to have to chuck this up in my lathe over here. I'm just setting up my 3-jaw. I trimmed that back and then used the file to give it a nice radius, so it should work really good. And now it fits right in there without interfering on the bearing, so we're good. So here's the tool I made for adjusting the collars here on the retainers for the carrier bearings. Unfortunately, I made it to fit the Speedway, and it fits perfectly in my 350 gears I put together, but not this one, because the holes are not elongated like the other differential. So then I decided on this would be a better tool, and that way it's a little flimsier, but I can adjust it to any size I need. So anyway, that was down and dirty, cheap tool. Here you can see the pattern on the back side with a 14,000 shim. See, it's a straight line with just a little hump in the middle. So that's, according to the internet, that's in way too tight. And on the front side, you can see it's just hitting down deep and on that front corner. It's a 17 thousandths shim, still into deep with 11 thousandths backlash. 19 thousandths, still down too tight on the back side. And the front side is still hitting on just that little inside edge, and this is with 11 thousandths of backlash. The pattern is slowly now starting to get bigger and starting to fill in up the tooth. It's this is with a 20 thousandths shim. The front is still up there, but notice how it's starting to get longer. So we're closing in on it, see? Here we are at 22 thousandths. Notice that the pattern is looking better, but still giving me that straight line down at the bottom. And the front side is still very much tucked up into the toe there. This is with a 24 thousandths shim. You can see how, like on this tooth here, it's kind of got a double dot, and that's because it's getting so close, it's beginning to pick up the previous wear pattern. But in general, it's starting to look like it's getting really close if it were the backside. If I were setting it up via only the backside. And then when I turn it around this way, you can see, oh yeah, the front side is still down too tight and towards the toe. Most of the wear could be coming because the bearings were loose and it's been wearing out here towards the heel quite a bit. And now that everything is tight, it's picking up the part that didn't get worn with the loose bearings. That could be what's going on. I'm not sure. At 25 thousandths, you can see that it is just starting to hit a little heavier at the top of the gear on the back side. I mean, this one's real even. It's got that little sort of dead spot in the middle, which is from wear probably. So these are, I guess all of these are about the same. They have about the same amount of print at the top as they do at the bottom. But the straight line is gone. So according to the back, it's not in too deep anymore. On the front, however, we still have our straight line, and it's still up on the toe of it. So I think I'm going to open up the backlash. It's got 11 in it right now. I think I'll take it out to 12 or 13. These are used gears, so they've probably been running it with more backlash than factory, of course. Okay, so here I just opened up the backlash 1 thousandths to 12. And you can see the pattern moved a little bit towards the heel. The front side looks better. Still has that line at the bottom of it though. So it's saying it's in just a hair too deep. The back side, however, if you look at that real close, some of these teeth, like, let's see, let me change hands here. See, like this one here, it's got that little line at the bottom that's really straight, although the pattern looks pretty good there. So it could probably go 1 more thousandths out on the pinion. Now at 26 thousandths, you can see that it's starting to pick up heavier on the tip than down in the bottom. Even though there's wear and there's 2 contact points, it's a little heavier at the top. So the pattern is starting to lift or be too far out for the back. Still acceptable though. The front side still has, well, the line has gone away, but it's not a fuzzy oval. It's a little flat on the bottom. So it's saying, I'm still in too deep. This is with 12 thousandths of backlash. Okay, that's opened up 1 thousandth of an inch. So it's at 13 thousandths for backlash. And you can see the pattern did move towards the heel just a little bit. Same with the front side, which is almost centered now. Looking pretty good, actually. Still saying, I'm in too tight. So I'm wondering, maybe one more thousandths. Take it out to 27. Now we're at 27 thousandths with 13 thousandths of backlash. And on the back side, you can see the contact is heavier towards the tip than it is. It's not picking up the high spot on the tooth down further. But that's not necessarily bad, but it's going to make noise until it wears in. On the front, however, it looks acceptable. There's a little oval pattern, no straight line. If you look around all of these teeth, same thing. They all show. Here, let me just rotate this thing. Change hands here. Here we go. You can see how it's just leaving a pattern. It's almost a straight line across the middle of the tooth. It's a little further down than before, but not bad. This is probably acceptable. So maybe I'll stop there. That's a pretty good setup. This is the Speedway. I've got the used one that I put together right there. See, empty hole. So yeah, my used gears in my good case, my 3.0 case, with some bearings replaced on the pinion and stuff, perfectly quiet at all speeds. I'll show you the pattern. So let's go right to those videos so you can see the pattern that I put on that differential that actually ended up quiet. This pattern involves almost the entire face of the tooth because they're well worn in, a lot less wear than the 3.0 gears have, and balanced front to back. These gears ran completely quiet. There were a lot of I don't knows in that video. If this is your bag and you looked at all those gear patterns and know what they mean, leave a comment so that you can tell me where you would have stopped it. Would you have gone to 27 thousandths? Would you have gone to 26 thousandths? What would you have done in order to get that gear pattern right? It's got 1,000ths increments, so just let me know. I mean, it seems like it was a crapshoot. When I did the 350 gears, my used set, the pattern seemed to work out pretty good, and I didn't have that problem of the backside being different than the front side. Those gears just seemed to be really well matched. Is that the word I'm looking for? Or maybe the deviation is in the case, and those gears work in that case really well because there's a little angle difference in the way the gears mesh or something. I don't know. I'll add another one onto it. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching Don's Manufactory. And may your rear end be better off than mine. I'll catch you later.